Welcome to 734 Games, and this is your host Tom, and today we're playing Everreach Project Eden, and later on we're going to talk about how companies could save money when betting on new IPs. So let's get started with this game that is developed by AAA Games and published by Head Up. Let's get started with Everreach Project Eden on 734 Games.
Everreach welcomes you to Eden, the first habitable planet we've discovered in our galaxy, with a lush environment, unique biosphere, and the first evidence of alien civilization. Thanks to your advanced purchase, our plans for an exclusive luxury settlement are well underway. An advanced team of scientists, mechanics, and construction workers is already planetside, building a network of settlements and cities for you and your fellow colonists. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen complications on site, our official opening date has been slightly delayed. We apologize for any inconvenience. A team of highly trained specialists has been dispatched to Eden to evaluate the situation and restore regular operation as soon as possible. Thank you for choosing Eden Colony and Everreach Industries, putting the stars in reach.
ETA for final approach 13 minutes. Still nothing on the comms.
Roger that.
Wow, so that's Eden, huh? Really is as beautiful as the brochure makes it out to be.
Focus, Jay. We need to find out why the colony communications went dark.
Fire? Technical glitches? Corporate sabotage? Just crappy reception?
Kid, I don't think they'd be sending in the guys with the guns if it was just crappy reception.
We've got a targeting lock from the colony defense systems.
They're firing at us!
Now, Everreach Project Eden is an ambitious, over-the-shoulder, third-person action shooter. It's science fiction. It's a lot like I said, it reminds me a lot of Mass Effect, and the game to me is relatively, it's pretty enjoyable. Now, not everybody is, there's like the reviews for this game are mixed on Steam. But while the gameplay is not as dynamic as a lot of AAA games, I would say that the gameplay in this game is enjoyable, and you have a leveling system. I think it's kind of cool. A leveling system that's a lot like Mass Effect. You'll see that later on in the video because I will show you snippets of gameplay. I like to do that throughout my videos. But what I think here is really good. The only thing I think was missing, I'll probably talk about this a little later, is maybe mod support. But what's here is pretty cool. The game is in the Unreal 4 engine, so that's a plus because the game has good bones, and it's using a proven system to bring you this content. That's one thing about games that utilize Unreal Engine assets. Now, since finishing this game, AAA Games has moved on to Cataclysm: Shards of the Four, which looks like an interesting game. Their games are very visually stunning.
Please identify yourself.
Lieutenant Nora Harwood, Everreach Industries, Security Division.
Unauthorized user, please remain still.
Now, when you look into this developer's body of work, AAA Games, you'll see that they like to do single-player games with no microtransactions. While not everybody will agree on the quality of the products they put out, their products are pretty decent. Now, this game is $24. Oh yes, and if you like this channel and you like the indie content that I bring you here at 734 Games, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, especially if you like indie games. If you don't like indie games, then you probably want to watch another channel. And if you don't like my content, just thumbs down. You can do that. But like I was saying, Overreach Project Eden reminds me a lot of a budget level Mass Effect. And the game looks pretty good, although the faces kind of remind me of Mass Effect Andromeda. The game, for an indie game, is not a bad game. For $24, this is not a bad game. This game is available on the Xbox. It's available on PC. and it's only on Windows, and so it's basically Windows and Xbox. But I mean, you have what you have here is a pretty enjoyable game for that money. I have not. Now the other game they made is $15. Some people like it, some people don't. That's a very inexpensive, price to pay for a smaller indie game. And these indie games, the quality obviously isn't what the AAA's could be, and that's something I want to talk about. I said I was going to talk about how big gaming could save money, or how the AAA developers, as people call them, could save money with on these new IPs. Because a lot of companies, you look at Ubisoft, you look at Activision Blizzard, you look at EA. Although EA does have a program for indies, these companies do not like to have, they don't like risk. They're very risk adverse. So in my opinion, the best way for these companies to save money would be to publish indie games. Now, they could publish them under their names. They could give them some funding, whatever they think the property is worth, and just act as a publisher, put out these indie games, and the most of the risk would probably be on the developer, because obviously when the developer is the real person, the development team are the real people behind it, or behind the game. And these companies could put out single player games that people enjoy, because right now I think most of the games out there that people are really enjoying are single player games, with the exception of a few big multiplayer hits. I mean, you have your Call of Duties and you have your World of Warcrafts, and those games are huge, but how many other games come out and they pour tons of money into these properties and they get nothing for them? Now, if they were to pour a little bit of money into in an indie game and take maybe some of the risk, not all the risk obviously, because a company like Activision or a company like Ubisoft can write off that loss if they have it. And they could also have these companies, bring them their products and, audition for them and, pitch to them.
Nora, do you read? Nora! Anybody!
Jay, you're all right.
Nora! Mike is...
I know.
He was right there, and then he just blew up. One shot, just like that.
We can't focus on that right now. We need to regroup. What's your position?
I've never seen someone die right in front of me. I can't believe it. He was just...
Technician Rockwell, report. What's your current status?
Sorry, just minor injuries, Lieutenant. The cockpit took the brunt of the impact.
You're still in the ship?
For now, but with all this damage, there's no way to get it flying again.
We need to rendezvous. What are your current coordinates?
I don't know. The navcom's destroyed. All I can see through the windscreen's forest. I'm gonna exit the craft and see if I can get my bearings. Make out.
Jay? You're breaking up. Jay! Damn it. Something's jamming the signal.
And they get to see so it would be really mainly on the developer, and they could pick the best properties or the best games. And some of these games would probably almost be finished. It'd be very little work for, Ubisoft, EA, or Activision to do that. So that could be something that these companies should look into, definitely. Games like this, with some real backing, I think this game really could have been something really cool with a little bit of AAA cash thrown behind it. Plus, when a developer is using a proven engine, like say the Unreal 4 or Unreal 5 engine, they are using a proven asset that most developers out there understand. So if that developer needs help, they can get it from the publisher, like say a big publisher like a Ubisoft or EA, or they can go to Epic and get help. Epic has been very generous in the past when it comes to developers needing help utilizing their engine. So big gaming, let's get on the ball and hedge some risk and publish some indies. Another reason to outsource to indies is that Microsoft is becoming, they've always been a juggernaut, but now in gaming they are much bigger juggernaut. And I don't see Sony holding out to them very long, and I think that Valve underestimated what Microsoft was doing with their Windows Store front end, because I'm sure Windows 11 is going to have a much more integrated Windows Store, Xbox Store on its front end than Windows 10 does, and that's saying a lot. Now, I know the attitude in the industry is that the money is mainly in mobile and multiplayer. Now there is money in those in mobile and multiplayer, and what you could do is focus your internal development teams on making, microtransaction, DLC, always online games, and you can have third parties, or you're not third. Well, I guess you could call them third parties, but you could have your proxies make single player games, and do this. You could even maybe acquire properties this way too. So there's a lot of ups to obviously working with other smaller studios and having them take the risk on single player games when you guys cannot. And I mean, you could obviously you could put a little bit of money behind it, and you're obviously going to get a better product down the line. And I think that the fans will appreciate it. The fans, the people that buy, that pay the salaries and buy the games, will definitely appreciate you guys for making, for taking more chances, even if it's less of a chance than you would take making the games in-house. Now, right now, Valve and Epic are two companies out there that are trying to combat some of Microsoft's supremacy in the gaming space. Now, that's a good thing. Now, the thing that you guys can do while helping your bottom line as well is having, paying indie developers to take the risks that you won't take, and having them put out properties. And some of these developers are not going to part with their properties, but some of these developers will, and some of them will be successful, and some of them will not. But I think more of them will be successful with your know-how and your money behind them than without it. Now, the Steam Deck is a great device, and that's a device that's going to push indie gaming. Now, one of the beauties of that device is it's open source, and that any of the AAA developers could make their own device, or they could make games for it. Now, I hope you guys choose to allow if you do go with the indie companies, if you do let them take the risk, if you do pay them, if you do get, start working with them, that you definitely allow, or you definitely support Linux. Linux is a great operating system. It's good to have competition out there. I think if the industry just has Windows, then I think it's going to be worse for you guys as well as the fans. So in that sense, the fans and the big developers are in the same boat. Now, I hope that someone in the industry in the right place hears this or watches this video and, thinks about what I'm saying. Now, on to some gameplay of Overreach Project Eden.
Hold your fire! You're not from Eclipse. Who the hell are you?
Lieutenant Nora Harwood, Everreach Security Division. My team and I were shot down by colony defenses. One of my men crash-landed further away. The other didn't make it. Were you the ones who fired on us?
No, but I can explain who did. Welcome to Nova Outpost. I'm Lieutenant Abigail Ross, Colony Security and Logistics. Did they tell you much about this place in briefing?
I read the reports. Multiple luxury settlements tailored for rich colonists on the first habitable planet we found in our galaxy.
Maybe the only habitable planet besides Earth. Not like you see evidence of alien civilizations anywhere else, right?
You mean those obelisks I saw on the way in?
Yep, that and the ruins. They're all over the place here, but whatever built them is long gone.
Hard to believe we have actual proof of alien life now.
It's big news. That's why Everreach sent a bunch of archaeologists with the advanced colony team. Someone's got to study what's here.
Tell me more about the advanced team. They're not colonists?
No. None of us could afford it. We're just getting the colony set up. So construction workers, technicians, scientists, you name it. There's about 200 employees working here.
So, what happened?
Until 2 weeks ago, everything was going great. We set up a bunch of different outposts all over the planet to build the different settlements and carry out local surveying. It was all on schedule, going as planned. And then, one day, without any warning, the main outpost, Eclipse, launched a full-on attack on us. They reprogrammed their drones, jammed all local and interplanetary communications, sent in infantry, you name it.
Let me guess. They're the ones who fired on us?
Considering they're the ones controlling the big surface-to-air cannons, I'd say pretty likely.
What do they want? Why are they attacking?
They haven't said, but, well, Everreach has more than a few corporate rivals that would love to see this colony initiative fail.
You're thinking corporate sabotage?
Makes sense. Bribery, spies. It's got to be pretty organized to have a whole settlement in on it, not to mention trying to kill us.
Do you know what's happening over at Eclipse right now?
No clue. We can't even spare a single scout at this point. We're running out of everything. Food, fuel, medical supplies, you name it. We won't last much longer at this rate.
Is there anywhere you can find more supplies?
There's a construction site a little ways from here that would have some of the things we need, but it may as well be back on goddamn Mars. We can't get to it by foot, and the only vehicle we have that's still running is a single-rider hover bike. I'd have to send one person out alone, into hostile territory. These people don't have the right military training for field combat. It'd be a death sentence and a waste of resources. I can't make that call.
But now, you do have someone with military training. What do you need me to do?
Well, I would need you to head over to the construction site and explore the area. Pick up whatever supplies you can find, then bring them back here.
Would there be any field support?
Well, communications will be jammed, so we can't help you directly. But there is someone who can. Go check in with our technician bot, 73Q. She'll get you set up. I have to go refortify our positions and check in with the guards. When you're done, meet me in the map room, and I'll give you the coordinates.
Excuse me, are you 73Q?
Affirmative. Scanning unknown user for company identification. Everreach employee status confirmed. Welcome to Nova Outpost, Lieutenant Nora Hardwood. I am Everreach branded Technician Support Platform 73Q. My friends call me 73. Current number of friends is 0.
Okay. Abigail told me to report in with you?
Affirmative. Lieutenant Abigail Ross. Confirmed new orders. I stand ready to assist you in technical and field support.
What kind of field support? I gather communications aren't working.
That is correct. Good job. You get a cookie.
Huh?
Communications are indeed inoperable, but I will accompany you on location to provide local logistics and support. I can also provide relaxing music.
Hey, are you okay? You seem to be acting strangely. I mean, not to be rude, but are you always this bad at cracking jokes?
Checking database. Negative. According to my records, I have only been bad at cracking jokes for 5 days, 6 hours, and 23 minutes. My apologies. A personality module was installed incorrectly and is providing inconsistent feedback for the context, timing, content, and phrasing of jokes. Please disregard all attempts at humor. My primary functions are unaffected. My scan shows you are currently using standard issue Everreach weapon and body armor. With the correct materials and technical skill, this equipment can be upgraded over standard specifications.
I know. Usually my technician Jay handles on-the-fly upgrades, but he's not here right now.
You are in luck. I am able to interface directly with Everreach equipment and upgrade it using salvaged parts and raw materials. Allow me to demonstrate. Please open your main interface menu. Select the upgrade option. This is the upgrade interface. Each node represents a specific upgrade. Each upgrade will require certain materials to complete. You can salvage these materials in the field. When you have the materials, simply select which upgrade you wish me to complete. You already have some materials. Try selecting an upgrade now. The upgrade is effective immediately. This will allow for seamless improvements to performance at any time.
So Overreach Project Eden is an ambitious title that doesn't quite make the mark of a AAA game of its of its scope, but it's still a relatively fun shoot 'em up. Not the obviously the most explosive campaign, but it's not bad. And I enjoyed what I played. But this game screams for mod support, especially with the Unreal 4 engine. I don't know why this developer didn't put mod support in this game. That would have been awesome. I could see what people would have done. When you're using an open source engine like the Unreal 4 engine, which is awesome, and I can't wait to see developers use the Unreal 5 engine, but mod support is definitely for a game like this, an indie game with a small scope. That should be something that developers should seriously think about. So Elder Games, if you're listening, please think of that. And that's pretty much it for this episode of 734 Games. This is your host Tom, signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.
What the hell is that?
Scanners indicate it is a repurposed Eclipse geological survey vessel with some minor upgrades.
Minor my ass! Evasive maneuvers! Where did this thing come from?